How are you, Chief?
Good to see you.
I mean, I'm following up after pastries.
Yeah, this is
Hard.
tough.
Pastries to policing.
Yeah, exactly.
This is going to be a tough
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Never mind, I'm starving. So
Yeah.
if you hear my, now I'm starving. I wasn't hungry
Right.
until
Add all the
took
sweetening
that
you have
interview.
to this interview, yeah.
Exactly.
But we have not seen you in person. We've seen you only on Zoom, I think. Right? Am I right in the past?
Yeah, I
year
think
and a
so.
half? Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's great to see you in person.
Yeah, same here. Same
Yeah.
here. This
Yeah.
feels normal again, doesn't it?
It
Yeah.
does, yeah, to be meeting at a place, having coffee and chatting.
Correct.
Right? Exactly.
And a beautiful place. I mean, I can't believe what Lenny did with this place.
Isn't this wonderful?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And again, I think it's just going to change in the summer to have a place to have just a little something to eat and stroll along the harbor is just so nice.
Yeah, no,
Right? It's gonna
absolutely.
Set off the harbor.
So, Chief, what is going on with the department now as we, we're in the middle of the holiday craze now?
Sure. So this is usually our slower time, believe it or not, for us, right? So this is a time when we try to, we plan what we plan in terms of change. This is the time we try to execute on those plans. When things are slower, it's a less demand on calls of service typically because the summer crowd has moved on. So right now, what we're kind of focusing on is a renovation, believe it or not. The courthouse and the
Yeah.
police department. We're in the final phases of planning. We hope to have a product to deliver to City Council for approval within the next weeks, maybe a month or so.
So this
that's
city council or the new city council?
probably tough to say.
Okay, okay.
tough to
yeah.
say.
If it's in a week, it'll be this one. Yeah.
Right, so probably the next one.
Yeah.
So we're very excited about that. There's a lot of work to be done still and a lot of planning to do, but I think it's like a lot of places, long overdue for this building. And
When was the last time work was done in the police department?
I mean, it's been a little ad hoc. I mean, I don't think there's been a major renovation there since it was built. And was that the early 70s, late
70s,
60s?
Yep.
Yeah. So they've upgraded things here and there,
Right.
but there hasn't been a coordinated effort to truly renovate it properly. So new windows, new HVAC, ADA compliant, both in the courthouse and the police department. It's going to be same footprint, pretty much the same design. Actually, we'll have our first sort of dedicated female locker room and bathroom. So
that's good.
That's nice. They have a locker room now, but we can do better.
How many women are on the force?
Right now, we have two full-time female police officers. We have one in our reserve program, so that she works dispatch, and you'll see her all working details, Olivia. And we have two female parking enforcement officers.
right,
So.
right. Oh, that's good. That's an interesting innovation since the 1970s.
Yes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, and the department's expanding slightly too. The community impact unit is about to move on to Middle Street.
That's right. That's a big move for us, and that was a great opportunity that was presented by the YMCA to us.
In their
So-
old space.
In their old space, not the
Not the
space
gymnasium
that was
part.
a gymnasium.
Right.
The part where I've been told people who've been here for a while may remember it as a furniture store.
Yeah, from way back.
From way back.
And I think originally the teen center might have been there before it was on Center Street too, way back. But yeah,
Right,
it was a
right.
furniture store for a long
Yeah.
time.
Right. So that's a terrific space. It's going to actually provide us because the community impact unit is expanded. In addition to Lieutenant Castro and Tito Rodriguez, we have a full-time mental health social
Oh, that's
worker
great.
who does co-response and with us and does follow-ups for us, which is huge
That's
benefit.
huge, yeah.
And we are also looking to expand the SRO program. And the SROs are typically in the schools during the school year, but when they're not in the school, when the school's out of not in session, they're still trying to engage. You may be familiar with SRO gaming.
This is the gaming
Yeah.
program, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, which was, a home
Huge
run.
success, right?
A
Yeah.
huge success.
Yeah.
It
Brilliant.
kept them so engaged with the students that they work with, so we didn't lose that rapport that they build over the course of the school year. So that gives everybody space, and it gives them privacy. If Tito wants to engage with someone and he's helping, he has now as a space to kind of bring them aside and have private conversations. Same thing with our mental health worker, Bree. She'll have a space of her own, and we'll have a training space there. But in the interim, too, while we do the renovations, it will provide us a location to have police operations continue, so we can be out of that building. That will
So
make
you'll
it.
have to be out altogether.
We don't have to be, but
Yeah.
if we are, it will speed up the process and make it more efficient. So we'll phase that. That's the plan right now.
Yeah.
I think we'll keep dispatch and the walk-in, basically the walk-in lobby. That will be as accessible there for as long as we possibly can, and then we'll we'll have to move it, and we're still thinking about how that might look.
Right, because the CIU is currently situated at the Browns Mall, next door neighbors to us.
Right.
Correct.
At the mall.
Yeah.
They're sort of tucked in a broom closet back there. So
It wasn't a broom closet when they started, right? But now it's just like filled with
Yeah.
things.
you got Ace in there hanging out. You have all the drop-off stuff.
Oh, the
One thing I
dog?
want to mention with the
Yeah.
holidays too is it's the charitable drives that the department's a part of. We know with the open door, you helped out with the work with all the supermarkets. There's usually stuff a cruiser is going on as well, and so people are always dropping off, whether it's bikes for kids for SRO or food or whatnot going on. It's always packed over there.
I mean, I couldn't be more proud of this department. I don't know of any, and I've worked for 3 other law enforcement agencies, and all of which were great departments. But this department's in this community, I think, and the relationship between the community and the department is so much different. I mean, 87% of this department, born and raised, still lives in Gloucester. Their families live here. It's funny that sometimes like anything, we get complaints, and sometimes you hear the complaint of, your officers don't seem to care about X, Y, or Z. I'm like, I don't know how that be possible because their families live here. Their kids go to school here. And you see that in the initiative they take when it comes to raising money, when it comes to, coming up with, the No Shave Novembers have turned into No Shave November, December, Januaries, and we raise money for a number of different, charities, and I'm really proud of that work that they do. And this is all, it's bottom up. That they're coming to me with these ideas. They're not my ideas. They come to me, and I think they do a great job.
Yeah.
So I have to say, on my way over here today, I passed a Gloucester policeman in his cruiser with a full beard.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I've never seen that before. Is that the no shave?
It is.
December?
So we do 2 of them a year. We'll do one in around November, so it usually starts with a No Shave November, and that's sort of a statewide, becoming a national thing. And the unofficial deal is they can keep the beard until the Patriots are out of the playoffs, or go to the Super Bowl. So once they're out, the beards come off.
Yeah.
And then we do something heading into the summer. And the reason behind the second one heading into the summer were twofold. One, it's been a very successful fundraiser for us for whatever charities, and they let them pick what charities they want to contribute to. But 2, I get a lot of thank yous from their wives. They really like the change up. They like the beard. So I've had a lot of requests from spouses
That's great.
to keep it going. So
Can
I
you
added
grow
a
a
second
beard?
one.
Because I can't. You can?
I can. I'm not quite sure what it would look like right now.
Well,
I never have. I think
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep it that way.
You'll just write the check to your charity and leave it at that.
Yes,
right?
well, I do. But that's
Yeah,
exactly
I'm
what
sure
I
you
do.
Yeah.
I write the check and I say, don't look for my beard.
Yeah. Well, it was just so funny because I don't usually notice those things, but it struck me, and I thought I've never seen that before. So
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's
and we
all
get to
good
find out
reasons.
who can grow a beard and who
You
can't. And there's
sure
actually
do.
an award. They have a little internal competition. And
I
they
think
give
this
an
guy's
award
going to win, whoever it was.
Yeah.
It was a good beard.
The Yukon Cornelius Beard Award. I think
Yeah.
that's what it is.
That's very funny. Well, I have one last question.
go ahead.
And we spoke to Sue Coviello from North Shore Health recently, and I just have to mention the nationwide crisis of drug overdose deaths.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about what's going on with your department, how they're managing it, and what you're seeing? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think COVID certainly had a part to play in that. And we're seeing fentanyl, which is typically what's associated with these overdoses. We're seeing that show up in a lot of other types of drugs. We're seeing it show up in cocaine. We're seeing it show up in crack cocaine. We're seeing it hasn't happened here. It's happened in Connecticut, but we've seen it show up in some marijuana, very small cases. So I think you're seeing, fentanyl access increase. I think you're seeing it in more and more drugs, and that's a problem. One big thing that we did see here, we had a spike of probably about 6 months ago, was counterfeit pills. So we had a bunch of counterfeit pills that had fentanyl in it, and people were ODing, and they were, when I say this, I always try to be very clear that these aren't pills that are counterfeit that make their way to your pharmacist. These are pills that people are trying to buy, underground in the black market. This is not, no one's getting these from their pharmacist.
Right.
And that's been a spike. Now, how we respond to that, and this is where community impact is so important. I know Gloucester, before I got here, they've had a long history of really being progressive in how they attack the opioid crisis. And when I got here, I didn't want to do that, or I didn't necessarily change it, but I wanted to actually embrace it, expand it, and create structure underneath it so that that work will continue no matter who, what names are on the shirts that go over there. It just continues and continues. And when we created that unit, I think you see, they're left on their own to come up with these creative ways to problem solve. And Tito Rodriguez, I would argue, is one of the best recovery coaches in the nation. I mean, never mind he happens to reside here in Gloucester, and was a great hire for us to be able to do that. And Tito's out in the, people from this community know Tito because he's on he's out on the street every single day and engaging with people and staying engaged with them. And I think that's the most important thing, because not everybody's always ready for recovery. It's a journey until you get there. And sometimes with recovery, there's relapse. And I think the most important thing we can do is not give up. And we just stay on, stay engaged, and try to keep people alive long enough that their recovery will be successful. And that's sort of the strategy.
Right.
And I think COVID really took a hit, was a blow for people trying to connect and stay connected and in their recovery process.
I think, to me, one takeaway from COVID, one lesson learned, and one thing that we all appreciate now is that it's still very important for human beings to meet like this.
Exactly.
It's so different. And when you're dealing with someone who's in crisis, whether it's because of addiction or mental health, having a relationship and maintaining that relationship with somebody, it has to happen face to face, because it's building trust.
Exactly.
Right. And so that's what not only the community impact, but that's their primary mission, but every officer in the Gloucester Police Department knows everybody here, and they know them. And that relationship, even if it's sometimes adversarial, it still can be brought back, and it's still about trying to build that. Yes.
Yeah.
And you can't do that over Zoom. You just can't.
You cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you quickly want to touch upon, now that we're getting into the cold weather months, and there's a lot of people living outdoors at the moment, there's some problem spots in the city, and how the department is addressing those issues?
Right. Well, it's interesting that you say that, because where we're sitting now, many people may remember, Lenny Linquata stepped up last year and provided the space when a lot of the other shelters were shutting down or reducing the number of people. This year we don't have that problem. A lot of the shelters, not only here in Gloucester, but also our surrounding communities, are reopened. And the Gray Center here, of course, is an important one for us. There are many other shelters that are operated by Action Inc. And what our department's job is to kind of leverage all that. And so when we send community impact into the woods and engage, because last year we had the backpack process, so we're going to do that again this year. And one of the benefits of doing the backpack giveaway for people who are challenged with housing is that gives us a chance to engage with them. They come in, we give them a backpack filled with things we think would be useful for them, but then we know who they are, we ask them where they're living. They don't have to tell us, they don't have to engage in any of that if they don't want to, but they typically will. And now we have a sense of where people are at, and we know how to go out. We got a new community impact van recently, and now we can take the show on the road and kind of meet them where they're at, rather than have them come over to Brown's Mall.
Yeah.
So that's sort of our strategy, is to stay engaged. And again, I said it before, but it's community impact. That's their primary goal, mission. That's their primary responsibility. But all of our patrol officers do the same thing. They're all engaged, and it's about knowing who's who and where they are.
Great stuff.
Great, yeah.
Well, we really appreciate your time, Chief.
No, this is great.
Yeah, it's been great getting to know you over the last year or two. It's great to see you in person finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is a lot more
not
fun
just
than
through the monitor.
being on a
Yeah.
Zoom call.
So we'd love to check in with you maybe later on this winter.
Yeah.
Maybe we end up doing a show down at the newly renovated police station
That's
sometime.
right.
That would be terrific. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much for your
good luck
time.
with
Great.
that.
Yeah, and have a happy holiday.
Have a great holiday
See you.
season, Ed.
Okay.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.